For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Camping and Leisure with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a review on an exciting tent from Outwell. This here is the Outwell Vermont 7SA. So it's a model that was in the 2016 collection, carries on into the 2017 collection with some tweaks and improvements. Really was sort of recipe, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But they've still found to make a few little tweaks that really help to make that tent next level up. It was a model that was ridiculously popular last year, and I can see it carried on into this 2017 season just the same. In fact, you would struggle to find one last year, let alone, so it's a case of you looking at this tent, it's better to buy it early rather than later. It's sort of, what that Outwell did is they took one of their better selling and longer selling ranges, which is the Vermont XLP, which is a pole model, and they made a lovely nice inflatable version of it. So you get all of the plus points and of size, all the features that you would get with the Vermont XLP, but you can put it up on your own in 13 minutes. Kind of a no-brainer, really, you know. Spend a little bit more money, and then you get the whole point of it. One person can entertain the kids while the other person takes care of putting the tent up, and that's, for me, is the main key feature to these inflatable tents. Not only are they very strong and robust, but it's so quick to put up and down. So Outwell have done this one, so you've got 150 denier fabrics, it's the thickness of the fabric, but it's 6,000 mil hydrostatic head, so very waterproof, more than anything pretty much on the market. So that's yet again a very good tick in Outwell's book there. Naturally with Outwell you generally tend to find they do tend to pack it with features, and that's not an exception with this particular model. So you've got obviously ventilation panels to get yourself good circulation of air, you've got lovely big tinted windows to get yourself plenty of light inside, but still also have your privacy. So yet again, from the outside looking in, you can't see anything due to the tinted windows, but from the inside looking out, you still get beautiful panoramic views, which you would do with the front door situation here. And also it means you've got crystal clear windows, so you can still spot your kids if they're up to no good. One thing to mention, because it's Smart Air, hence the 7SA, Smart Air refers to the manner in which it inflates. So it's a Smart Air system, so one point will inflate pretty much the whole tent by the canopy part. So the joys this means, if you have like an electric pump, you can let it do the work and it will pretty much pitch the whole tent on its own. Admittedly, the hand pump which is supplied with it is quicker and is quite a little bit, well, not easier, but it is quite drastically quicker, mainly because it can thrust more volume into the tent than it can do with the electric pump. One thing to bear in mind, like I said, is the front part of the inflatable tube for the canopy is a separate entity to the main body. And actually the canopy can be, this year's now can be zipped on and zipped off. Reason being is that you can sort of just deal with the main body of the tent and worry about the canopy later, and it now will actually come in 2 bags rather than the one which was quite bulky. So it's a bit more of a sizable, well, manageable size really, with sort of the main body and the canopy. We have actually put this tent in 1 bag, but for the main, general public, to get this whole thing back in its original bag is a bit of a faff. So that extra second bag really does help to make a difference, make it easier to actually pack it away and fit it in the car as well. Other features that are sort of on this particular model, like I said, are things like mud skirts, as well as you've got sort of 2-tone fabric face here. So you've got like a lighter grey and a darker grey. Now that bears a bit more meaning when we go inside, which we'll talk a bit more about certain features. One thing to mention as well while we're on the outside is you've got a nice sort of side door here which you can put on king poles and actually have as an extra canopy. And on the other side, which you can't quite see at this current camera angle, is an extra section which you can sort of use as a smaller porch area or to put like a porch toilet. But we'll talk through a few more features on the inside. So let's have a look. So now we're inside the Vermont, you can get a bit more of an impression of how it's all laid out. So you've got a nice big canopy area, your main living area, and then finally your sleeping area at the back. So it's a model that's got tons of talking points about it, but we'll start with the canopy area. So beautiful, nice big canopy area. You've got the panoramic front, so you get beautiful views all out from the campsite, and obviously floods plenty of light in, but the privacy with the tinted windows. Yeah, again, in terms of privacy, you've also got the ability of zip up and down curtains. So the joys of this means that for night time and things like that, zip them up. That means you hopefully wake up in the crack of the dawn. On the front door, you've actually got a mesh panel as well, so you can get good circulation of air without having sort of bugs and critters come in. So personally, what I'd probably do is put the mesh panel in, remove the ground sheet that's in the actual tent. That way, if any rain comes in, it's just going to soak into the ground sheet rather than collect in a puddle. One thing that's quite nice is you get the ground sheet supplied with the tent, and it's actually what we call a bathtub. So it actually comes up a little bit on the sides. Yeah, again, helps just to keep sort of the draft and whatnot coming underneath. It just keeps it at bay and gives it a more sort of thorough feel, if you ask me. With the smart air system, next then you've got these bracer beams and you've got isolation valves in the actual point as well. So that, yeah, again, is quite unique to the smart air system. You've got a dividing door, which is just here. So that's just rolled up and that pretty much goes up around the whole length there. So what I can do is, if you want to separate the areas off between the 2 points, you can do so. So you can take it towards a halfway or full all the way. And yet again, you've still got mesh panels in here as well, so you can get sort of good circulation there and keep it as sort of separate sections, or have it like we had it here and one big nice open area. So we tuck that just there for the time being. You can see there's actually a wardrobe supplied with the actual tent as well, with a nice hanging rail as well, so you can actually pop your bits in there and get that more homely feel, which again only really Outwell tend to do. Nice little feature. Alternatively, take it down and just use that as more internal room. You've got the versatility there at all. One thing you can sort of see between the sections, you've got a bit of slack that you can actually peg this down if you wanted to and have it as one big sort of flat area into section. Same with the front door. It's quite nice not having a little lip on the front door. It actually folds down and pegs it. With this, you've probably got a bit more slack to do that, but it's not necessarily meant to do it as such. One thing you've got is like a Gothic arch shape in the tent. So really what the joys of that means is you get plenty of height inside the tent as well. And even when you get to the corners, me still being 6'2", 6'3", can still stand up pretty much anywhere inside the tent. And that's one thing that really you do tend to notice. The maybe floor space is about the same as most tents, but the height and the space inside of it feels a lot more roomier than some of its probably competitors. Like I said, with Outwell, as you expect, really lovely features. So you've got hanging points for lanterns, as well as Velcro points to put the cable away, leading down to cable entry points to put your mobile mains hook up in there. So they do really think about pretty every little detail. Where the bedroom sort of is here, if I just pop this back, you've got a separate entrance on the side here with its own canopy as well. A lot of people probably will use this as a somewhere under shelter that's not traipsing your muddy shoes into the ground sheet if you wish to use it there. So you can pop your shoes in there, you've still got a bit of shelter, shut that door up, and it's so. Alternatively, a lot of people will actually use it as a toilet. For younger kids, you can put like a porta potty or some sort of camper kazi out there. And then if you have an emergency in the night, they're just nearby rather than having to get up, put on clothes and trape yourself to the nearest sort of toilet block. So that's quite a nice little thing that again is really unique to this model. Not many others in competitors have it in that particular size. And you've still got the ability of windows in there as well, so you can get complete privacy if you wanted to. You've got mesh panels for the two side doors, so you can get good circulation of air without having sort of bugs and critters come in, so that's really nice. And you've got, yet again, the benefit of Outwell's basically royal bedrooms, as they call them. So there's a reds for royal. Royal bedrooms basically means they are deeper than your normal bedrooms that you'll find in a tent. So Outwell do ambassador and then royal. Normal ones are about 2 meters 10 deep. These are 250. So the joys, this means you can get a proper full-on camp bed, you know, in lengthways as it's meant to be, rather than having to sort of turn it 90 degrees and go across a couple of sleeping areas. So that for me is a huge feature, and something, yet again, only really Outwell tend to do with these master or royal bedrooms. One thing, like I said, you can still get changed more than happily inside the bedrooms because you've got plenty of headroom. And one thing, again, which is quite unique to the Vermont, is the fact that you can have 360-degree view. So even in the bedrooms, you've got little window panels that you can look out and get. And if you want to see necessarily where your kids are at any second, so you want to have a lie-in and leave them to play outside, you can do so quite easily. Other things, you've got storage pockets for keys, phones, books, that sort of thing, anything just to declutter the main part of the tent. And then you've got a sort of a free section, so they class it, as a 7 berth really, but really I'd probably say it's more of a comfy 6, if not 5. So you've got a 2, 3 and a 2. Admittedly, the 3 in the middle is probably a little bit stingy on space, so really a 2, 2 and 2 is more than fine. Inside the bedrooms, it's actually a fully zip divider as well, so you've got zips running down both sides on this sort of 5/3 bit. So you're down the sides but not on the bottom, whereas the one on the far side here is actually considered a completely separate bedroom. So it's completely thorough all the way around. It's really its own separate division. So, if there is, say, 4 of you, 4 or 5 of you, chuck 2 in there, 3 in here, and maybe an extra 1 in there. It's really nice, quite and versatile. When you get into sort of the main bedroom, like I said, you've got the ability of the windows at the back, which you don't have to go to the outside to do the windows up to get privacy, so you can do that quite happily. It's just a toggle there, but like I said, it means you can actually get good vision out there. And yet again, if you've got a lovely campsite, I know many ones in Wales and things like that, you can get beautiful views and still enjoy that from the safe and coziness of your own tent. You've got like a little point of skylight here, so you can hang different things, lanterns or other malarkeys, towels and that, just to air out and dry off. And you've still got little storage pockets actually on the inside of here as well. So again, if you want to, charge your phone or something like that, you can more than happily pop it in there. Or you've got a little cable entry point even into the inner. So they really have gone to an extra layer of detail with all the features that you find inside this tent. Again, really positive model, and certainly one that was very sought after for the 2016 season. Plenty of talking points. Like I said, you've got isolation valves on the top here again for the smart air system, but it's certainly one that we will be are stocking for the 2017 season and worth having a look at in person. We do notorious amounts of shows, if not in our lovely indoor showroom as we are here, but in Bristol we also do a tent show there during months of May, and we also do one in July as well. So that's worth coming down to see this model. But really impressive, sort of takes on from last year to this year, and again with a slightly darker roof as well, helps to keep it darker in here during the early mornings. So impressive model, great talking points, riddled with features, so quite impressive here from the Outwell Vermont 7SA.